boys and girls, it's Mrs. Sink. I wanted to read you a book today because I was thinking about you and miss you. So here we go. Gorilla Thumps and Bear Hugs. One day during recess, Lucas noticed that his friend Annabelle looked very sad. When he asked her what was wrong, she said, "I was drawing a picture of myself as a scientist and two kids teased me. They told me the picture was silly, but that I was crazy for wanting to be a scientist. But I think science is so much fun. I want to be an astronomer so I can learn about fun stuff like the billions of stars in space. Or maybe a zoologist studying all the different animals in the world, where they live and what they do. Or a doctor learning all about amazing things in our bodies, like our eyes that see and our ears that hear and our lungs that breathe. But kids are always teasing me for liking science. Maybe I am foolish for wanting to be a scientist. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe that's why. I'm so sad," Annabelle said with a sigh. "I'm sorry you're sad. I know a secret trick that might help you feel better," Lucas said. "A few weeks ago I was really sad because I tripped and fell playing soccer. It hurt and I didn't want to play anymore because I looked silly in front of my friends. So I quit. When my brother Malachi saw how sad I was, he taught me something called magical tapping technique, and it made me feel much better. Want to learn about it?" "Sure," Annabelle said. He started by telling me that we all have magical points in our bodies where we can touch our energy. Lucas said, and that by tapping on these points while saying magic words, we can change how we feel. He has really fun ways to remember each point. "We always start the tapping with the karate chop point," Malachi said as he tapped on the outside of his hands. "With this point, I think about doing karate and breaking boards." So he's tapping on the outside of his hand like this. "Next is the eyebrow point," he said. "I call this the hairy eyebrow point. When I tap here, I pretend that I have eyebrows so big that birds can land on them and sing songs to make me feel better." Then there's the side of the eye point, which I call the super eagle eye point. When I tap here, I pretend I have super eagle eyes that let me look at things in different ways. Next is the under the eye point. I call this the lion cry point. This helps me remember that even if you're as strong as a lion, it's still okay to cry and let bad feelings out. A lot of times crying makes you feel better. Then there's the under the nose point, the dragon fire point. When I tap here, I pretend I'm a dragon, setting fire to the bad feelings as I breathe them out of my nose. I can feel the bad feelings leaving through the hot fire in my hands as I tap. Next is the chin point. I call this the wolf's chin point because when I tap here, I think about a wolf howling away at the bad feelings. Then there's the collarbone point, which I think of as a gorilla thumb point. When I tap here, it's like I'm a big and proud gorilla bleeding on my chest. Next is the underarm point. I call this the bear hug point because when you tap here, I think about giving myself lots of love with a big bear hug. And the last one is the top of the head point. I call this the monkey point. When I tap on this point, I like to pretend I'm a monkey. Sometimes I even make monkey sounds. Malachi showed me how to tap on each magical point on my body with my fingers while saying the magical words. Lucas said, "At first I felt silly and even giggled thinking about the funny names for each point, but once I started doing it, I didn't mind because it made me feel so much better." "That sounds like it could help, but what are the magical words?" Annabelle asked. "They're actually called magical tapping phrases," said Lucas. "You say them when you're tapping on the magical energy points. Basically, you just say out loud how you're feeling, and this helps your feelings change." "Can we try it?" Annabelle said. "Sure, just repeat after me and tap where I tap," answered Lucas. First, tap on your karate chop point and say, even though I feel sad because some kids tease me about my pictures, I love myself anyway. Keep tapping and say this 2 times. Great, said Lucas. Now let's go to the hairy eyebrow point and say, I feel sad because the kids teased me. So boys and girls, you tap with 2 hands. I'm just doing it with 1 because I'm holding the book, but you can tap with 2 hands like this. Lucas and Annabelle continued to tap on each point, saying the magical tapping phrases. Soon Annabelle got the hang of it and started tapping on her own. When Annabelle finished tapping through all the points, Lucas told her to take a deep breath and breathe in. Remember, smell the flowers and blow out the candles. How do you feel, he asked. Wow, I feel a lot better, she said. This is magic, real magic. And you know what? I had a great idea. When we were tapping, Annabelle got up and said, I have to go ask the teacher about my idea. After recess, the teacher asked all the kids to draw pictures of what they wanted to be when they grew up. They all had different ideas. Of course, Annabelle drew herself as a scientist. When they were done, each kid got to share his or her picture. Everyone had an amazing time, and Annabelle was no longer alone. The next day, Annabelle came up to Lucas and said, thank you for showing me the magical tapping technique. It made me feel so much better and even helped me to have the idea for us all to draw out our dreams. You're welcome, Lucas said. I'm glad you like it. Malachi and I are starting a tapping club to teach the other kids how to tap. Do you want to help? I'd love to, Annabelle said with a big grin. The end. Okay, so let's go over the different tapping points because these are things you can use when you're feeling sad or nervous or mad, and they can help you. And you just tap and say how you feel. Okay, so the first one is the karate chop. Okay, so the karate chop point is if you tap like here. So everybody take their hand like this and just tap on the side of their hand, and then you switch. The next one is the hairy eyebrow point. Okay, so then you tap 2 hands like this. Say, I'm really mad because I don't want to go to bed tonight. And you tap, 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 and maybe it'll make you feel better. The next is the super eagle eye. That's on the side. Okay, you tap on the side of your eyes. And you just tap nice and light. The next one is the lion cry, and that's under your eye. Sometimes you just tap, 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 and it makes you feel better. The next one is the under the nose, the dragon fire. So you just tap under your nose. The next one is the wolf's chin, right under your mouth. Tap, 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 tap. And you say how you're feeling. I'm so mad because I had to eat my vegetables. Maybe it'll feel better. The next one is the gorilla thump. Okay, the gorilla thump is your collarbone right here. Okay, you feel a bone. There's a bone on your body right here, kind of near where my necklace is. And you tap, tap, tap. The next one is under your arms, and that's the bear hug, and you tap under your arms, and you say, I feel much better. The next one is the top of the head, the monkey point. This is the last one, and then you just tap the top of your head and say, I'm feeling much more calm after all my tapping. Okay, and you tap. And your body feels better. So sometimes you find a spot that you like to tap the most, and you just tap that spot. And you just go around your body tapping when you're mad, and it gets you thinking of feeling happy and calmer. Okay? So that was great to read the story to you. I hope everyone's having a good week off of school. And we will see you again on Monday. Bye, boys and girls.